In this book, Karen writes a letter with a yes-no box. I showed it to my daughter, who wrote one of her own. Dear Dad, did I fart on you? Yes, no. No need for a paternity test. She's definitely my daughter.
Argo Funk Book Review. Argo Funk Book Review.
Karen's teacher announces an Adopt a Grandparent program. Twice a week after school, they'll take kids to the retirement home to spend time with the old folks. This is an optional program. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Karen has 4 grandmothers. They are Granny in Nebraska, Nanny at Christy's house, and the other 2 grandmothers don't matter. They're not in the book. I find it a little weird that Karen's so excited about her grandmothers when she ignores half of them. Nancy doesn't want to adopt a grandmother. Nancy is scared of old people because... Actually, there's no reason. She's just scared of old people, that's all. Karen helps by asking Granny to be Nancy's pen pal. That way Nancy can interact with an old person without being scared. Granny sends letters to Nancy and Karen. Karen's annoyed that Nancy gets larger letters, and she gets pictures. Does Granny like Nancy more than her? Karen is happy when she's assigned to Esther Barnard, or Grandma B. Now Karen has 5 grandmothers. It's a grandmother record. The book skips ahead 2 weeks. Karen is now sick of Grandma B. She doesn't want to see her ever again. That escalated quickly. All Grandma B does is listen to violin music and do old people dances. Karen gets out of visiting Grandma B by lying about softball practice. I think the kids are all paid actors, too. It's clearly not the softball team from last month's Babysitter's Club graphic novel. Karen's teacher switches the grandparents thing from fun and optional to mandatory class assignment that your grade depends upon. She reminds me of my high school teachers. All the students are required to make presents and put on a performance for the old folks. Karen and her friends spend 40 pages arguing over what play they should perform. They switch to reading poems instead. Then they spend 20 pages memorizing poems. Granny gives Nancy a huge package with presents and pictures. Karen is jealous, so she tries to sabotage the friendship by encouraging Nancy to call Granny Big Mama. This plan backfires when Granny likes the nickname. Granny's next letter to Karen is pretty short. Karen feels insecure, so she talks to Nanny. Nanny assures her that step-grandchildren are just as loved as natural grandchildren. The next time Karen goes to the retirement home, Grandma B talks about the high holy days. Karen doesn't know what those are. She could ask, but she doesn't care. She thinks, oh, Grandma B's so boring. So she interrupts the conversation to read a book about cats. Nancy is weirded out when she sees a photo of what Granny really looks like. Karen reassures her that just because somebody looks old, that doesn't mean they can't do things. The kids have a terrible dress rehearsal where they forget everything. Fortunately, their performance goes perfectly. All the grandparents love it. Grandma B and Nancy become good friends. They bond over the fact that they're both Jewish, and they like violin music. Soon enough, Nancy's family has adopted Grandma B. Karen decides she's fine with only having 4 grandmothers, so she stops visiting the retirement home. The end. Post-book follow-up. Karen was pretty selfish and mean in this book. She promised to visit Grandma B for the entire year, not because she wants to help people, but because she wants bragging rights. She gets bored after one visit and lies to avoid keeping her promise. It's supposed to be a happy ending when she gets to fully break her promise by pawning off the job of visiting Grandma B onto somebody else. It was nice of Karen to help Nancy get over her fear of old people, but I feel that story wasn't as good as it could have been, since we're never given a solid reason for why Nancy is scared of old people. Also, I don't think the book fully resolved the storyline that Karen feels neglected by Granny. Yes, Nanny assured Karen step-grandchildren are loved, but that doesn't change the fact that Granny is much nicer to Nancy than Karen. Seeing the kids prepare for the performance was kind of boring, since most of it focuses on a play that doesn't happen, and the rest focuses on poems that we don't get to read. I should probably mention the change in artists for the series. The new artist is fine. Karen faces forward much more often now. The bump where her forehead ends has been moved up, and it's always covered by her hair. I can't tell if the hair by her ears is longer, or if her ears are placed higher. Overall, I didn't like the book that much, but it seems unfair to judge the graphic novel too harshly for story problems that were present in the original book. If I had to write multiple books a month for years, I'm sure not all of them would be winners. If you can ignore Karen's bad behavior, which readers are supposed to do, then it's fine. I give Babysitter's Little Sister graphic novel number 9, Karen's Grandmothers, a sideways thumbs up.